All right. Hey, Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Wadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of great millstone, and as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings to all you Akim out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believe in on the gospel. And it's a couple of brothers from the Great Millstone Houston camp. I'm the brother Korah Abad. And as always, we got the beloved brother Tazapah as well.
Shalom.
Come. And the Wadi Shai once again for blessing us with another opportunity, to be able to come forth and provide this news, this information, which this is the most important things that's happening in this current day and age that we living in. The end of 2026 AD, as we enter into 2027 AD, man. Prophecy is the key component of these times. Or like Elder Taza Potter, where he uses a zeitgeist, the spirit of the times. And the spirit of the times is prophecy, like it said in the book of Habakkuk, the second chapter. At the end, it shall speak and not lie. And we definitely seeing the word speak, and daily, you have the apostles, bishops, elders, brothers constantly go over different aspects of prophecy. You might have some talk about the MOTB. You might have some talk about World War III and how it's going to lead up to it, like the Elder Ariala, and the Elder Require Kwan with the algorithm videos. You gonna have brothers going to the digital system, wars, concentration camps, all these different things, famines, so on and so forth, because the Lord is speaking in this time, like it was told to Edris. When you see these things happening, note that it is the very same time when the Lord shall begin to visit the earth. So hey, welcome to the times that the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai is finally visiting the earth again, by way of judgments, man. But other than that, Elder Tazapah, you had anything before we hop into it?
No, let's get into it.
Khan, that's it.
About to
So, and
cover.
Shalom Tala Khan, Shalom Tala Akim, Akwath, that's tuning in, Yahweh Bashim Shai Brakathum.
Shalom.
Khan. So the title for this Thursday live is Thursday Live Blackouts, right? With question marks. Blackouts, and the small has continued to drag the whore into war, right? Which all this is a part of prophecy. First with this blackouts, end time headlines was put out about 3 days ago. It says new blackout fears grow as 17 U.S. states are once again placed under power emergency. Right now we know it's hot. The grid is already weak. America's power grid is already weak. And now it's getting even more hotter by the day, whether it's the Lord turning it up or whether the Lord is using Esau, the so-called white man, to turn it up. But also with this it could be a energy crisis that we could see soon. With the continuation of war over in what they call the Middle East. With the Strait of Hormuz continuing to be shut down. Iran not budging, Iran getting help, intel from China, Russia, and as you have the small hats getting intel and America getting intel from the small hats and vice versa. You see, but if this continue, that can cause an energy crisis. So it's going to escalate these blackouts happening even more rapidly. So it says 17 U.S. states. Fear erupts as 17 U.S. states are placed under a power emergency. It says blackout fears are intensifying for millions of Americans as a punishing heat wave strains the nation's power grid to its limits. According to a report from the Daily Mail, the U.S. Department of Energy on Sunday authorized the grid operator serving parts of 17 states to activate idle power sources in a bid to keep electricity flowing. Oh, and another thing, on top of all that was just mentioned, you have data centers taking energy, taking resources, water. It says the emergency order covers Arizona, Arkansas, Colorado, Iowa, Kansas, Louisiana, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, New Mexico, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Texas, Utah, and Wyoming. It says it grants Southwest Power Pool permissions to bring backup generators online supplies grow critically tight. You see that? So we'll see what happens with that. That's something to look out for. It says more than 20 million people in the affected region face the threat of outages, while 40 million Americans remain under extreme heat warnings. Soaring temperatures and heavy humidity have driven air conditioning demand sharply higher. So again, this is a part of the plagues that the Lord is continuing to send upon Egypt. You was about to say something, Elder Tazapar?
Yeah, Con. No, I just say Con. I bring
Con.
out this is Isaiah chapter 24, verse 10. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. All right, the city of confusion is Babylon. Babylon is America. And that breaking down is a process that the Spirit of the Lord is doing. And we see the process in play. All right, and it's going to culminate into Jacob's trouble to where, yeah, people going to be shut up in their houses for fear. And this is what's shaping up right now. But yeah, it's the Spirit of the Lord breaking this place down. All right, pursuant to Isaiah 14 and around 12. Let me read that right quick.
Con.
Yeah, right quick. This is all right. Isaiah chapter 14 and let's see, verse 11. And you know what? Let me get 9. All right. This is Isaiah chapter 14, verse 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It had raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All right. And hell meaning the Most High is going to put them devils in hell. All right. All these with 400 plus years, they've been inflicting hell on us. Now the Most High going to move hell to put it on them. All right. And hell is talking about the grave. And it can go into, a condition of catching hell. But it says hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming, because he's looking to what? Destroy, kill, all right, murder, but it's gonna be turned on him. And it says, it stirs up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. And the dead is in reference to the heathens, the heathen nations. And they're getting stirred up. This is why World War III is culminating. Kim Iverson put a short out, and she's calling it World War III. But that's all the dead being stirred up. Ukraine just bombed some Iranian ships in the Strait of Hormuz. So, yeah, this is it's shaping up into a third war. Why would Ukraine bomb Iranian vessels in the Strait of Hormuz? And they can't even deal with Russia. All right, but logically, it really don't make sense. But as you was going into it, in the spirit of prophecy, it makes all the sense in the world. You see, because the prophecy is that they go into the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. And so that's going to get Russia and Ukraine over there now. They done already struck a blow. Ukraine done already struck a blow, and Russia is going to come to Iran's aid. So, yeah, this is the third woe. She was right. But, yeah, the dead are being stirred up. Well, it says, right. It stirred up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. Your Zelensky's, Putin, Xi, what's my man over there? Kim Jong-un, all them cats, the chief ones. That's them, just to name a few. It says, of the earth, it had raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations, all right, to go to battle. But it says, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? And they're speaking to the devil. Esau, Edom. This is what they saying. Who pointed this out? Oh, this is a guy I was listening to, and he was pointing out how when Putin was in China, Xi was pointing out that America is falling apart. And Trump, you know, he didn't go into his usual rhetoric of, no, we're number one, we're great. And he said his response was, in some areas, yes, but not in all. There's something to that effect. But right, when you got your head of state admitting to other heads of state that this shit is falling apart, and by design, mind you, but falling apart nonetheless, then it's a wrap here. But that's the spirit of the Lord at work in the world. So it says again, this is Isaiah 14:10, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave. It's hell. You see, the Heavenly Father is bringing this man where he was pompous and all of that. Now it's shameful spewing on his glory, and he's feeling it. It says, yet thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy bowels. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. All right, and that's going into the rot and decay of America and its infrastructure. Well, you got infrastructure, you got morals, you got human dignity and respect. Everything is decayed or decaying here in this, in Esau's kingdom. This is the result, the fruits of a devil ruling. You get exactly what you got here in Babylon: insanity, madness, sickness, disease. You see? And the only cure for all of this is Yahweh Shai, but this process has to run its course. Y'all didn't want grace. So the Lord got Jacob's trouble for it. Plus missiles, plus nuclear heat. Because you didn't want grace. That was too much of a bother for you. Well, get ready for this trouble. But you got it out.
Now that's it. I'm gonna play this quick video. That's what Scott Ritter he was going into. Pretty much America might as well give up and quit because they ain't gonna win.
But they can't because they own script.
They can't.
You got to get on. Yeah, like you said, brother. There's prophecy running this.
God.
I don't know if they went up there and told them, but prophecy running this. It ain't Trump. It ain't a Rothschild. You can't name a person unless you saying Yahweh. Why Yahweh Shai? But go ahead.
Kind of got it real quick. In Proverbs 21:1, it says the kings are, the rulers of the world, presidents, so on and so forth. It says the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So again, these nations, they might not want to go to war. They probably want to come to peace, but the Lord God has said, you got to go to war. In Joel 2:3, it says the Lord has gathered the nations for his determination. So nobody can stop that, man. But I'll play this from Scott Ritter real quick. Going into ultimately America has lost its dominance.
Has every right to believe that they're vulnerable to attack because they've been betrayed so many times in the past.
You're talking about Iran. Let me just
and they look, Iran has every right to believe that they're vulnerable to attack because they've been betrayed so many times in the past, and they aren't likely to put much credence. But if I were able to talk to this individual, and he was willing to talk to me, I would ask the following questions. In 37 days, how many targets did American and Israeli bombs strike in Iran? He'll give me a number. 25,000. Okay. Now, let's just break it down from a defense industrial capacity. How much damage was done to the Iraqi ballistic missile production capabilities? Was Bradley Cooper saying that he destroyed 87% of your ballistic missile production capability? Is this an accurate assessment? No, it's not. We're doing this and the other thing. So what you're saying is that the bombing campaign did not succeed in retarding Iran's capabilities. That's what I'm saying. Okay. And then we can just go on and on and on. What real damage has been done? What percentage of the buildings struck by the United States were empty buildings or politically motivated buildings that had no impact? And the point I'm trying to get at is when we look at the real impact of what America did to Iran in terms of, we sunk, ships. Iran wasn't a blue water navy to begin with. So we sank ships that, doesn't change the fact that Iran still controls the Strait of Hormuz and will continue and always will control the Strait of Hormuz. And so the point I would make to him is that in 37 days, we didn't do anything to you. We killed some people, a lot of people. We killed some important people, but we didn't change your regime. We didn't interrupt your ballistic missile production capability. We didn't have any meaningful impact on your nuclear program. We didn't secure the Strait of Hormuz. We didn't.
Right, and real quick, and again, and that's what America been lying and bragging. Trump, we doing this, we doing that. We obliterated them. No more missile capabilities, but Iran still fighting back. Well, how are they still fighting back if you have done all these things? And then what America is doing to combat against Iran is not really affecting them like that. Yeah, they destroying some things here and there. They killed some, a lot of people. But what Iran is doing with less is doing more damage to America. Whether it's his allies, creeping up closer to Israel. You see, and again, with Iran continuing, that's going to make American allies want to separate from America even more. Even more.
Man.
You about to say something, Zaquan?
No, I disagree. I don't disagree.
Didn't
accomplish anything. And so now, Mr. Speaker, I would just ask, what makes you think we can accomplish something this time around? I mean, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid that we're going to repeat what we did before? Why? You won. I mean, it's a pain in the neck. Things go boom, people die, but why would America repeat that? What's your assessment of America? We depleted our long-range strike weapons. You apparently have some intelligence. Have we replenished our long-range strike weapons to the degree that you've replenished your missiles? No, not even close. So how many days do you assess America to be able to sustain a campaign similar to the one that they did for 37 days? Less than a week, right? Yeah. What about their ability to intercept your missiles? When does that run out? 3 to 4 days, right? And how long can you cycle through? I just read something where people are claiming that you can salvo hundreds of missiles a day, every hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for a sustained period of time, striking all the targets. Is this an accurate statement, or are you just playing a Donald Trump here and saying things that aren't real? Oh, it's an accurate statement. So again, I ask, why do you think they would go to war with you? You've publicly stated that if you're attacked, especially your energy infrastructure, that you're going to immediately, in this 24/7 campaign, target the energy production facilities of the Gulf Arab nations, including desalination plants, that the United Arab Emirates will return to the Bedouin, I think somebody said. Is this an accurate statement? Yeah. What's your assessment of their ability to defend against this? None, right? So again, why do you think they're going to attack? Why? What? I mean, this is my question. I mean, I understand what they're saying. They have every right to be prepared for an attack, but why do they think they're going to attack? Because to attack to what end? What objectives are being sought? And what's the risk gain calculation that's being done on the part of those who would want to attack? And I would make the counter argument that Donald Trump can't attack.
Yeah, look.
Because the Gulf Arab states won't let him attack. One exception might be the United Arab Emirates, but according to Donald Trump, they were on the phone too. Because maybe the light bulb's gone off over their pro-Israeli head that the Israelis can't protect it from the Iranians and that Iran will terminate their existence as a modern nation state. These calls didn't happen an hour before Donald Trump was going to give. Donald Trump was never going to give that order. Never going to give that order. And anybody knows anything about modern air war and the sequencing of events that have to go in place to carry out an air campaign, this isn't something you stop 1 hour before bombs go down. This is something that gets stopped early on in the implementation cycle. The decision not to bomb Iran was made days ago, not an hour before the attack. And so you have to ask yourself, why did Donald Trump do this? Because he's manipulating the markets. I mean, literally, he's in there. He called the American economy a casino, and he's out there playing the game. And so are people around him. His truth social media postings are designed to generate market impact that positively favors those who make the appropriate betting, knowing this social media post was coming out, when it was coming out, and what it was going to say. So my counter is that everything that's going on has nothing to do with positioning the United States or Israel to gain some sort of political or military advantage over Iran by continuing the conflict. It's all a giant act of theater. It's a charade designed to ostensibly put pressure on Iran, but I don't think Iran's feeling any pressure. And the secondary benefit is to have Trump incorporated rake in the money from manipulating markets.
Yeah, the assessment of the battlefield, I think you're right about the reasons that you've just mentioned. But the problem is that we don't have a lot.
They lied about what would happen if they killed Ali Khamenei. They lied about everything. Donald Trump today.
We're about to move on because I played this video, but I think it's maybe this one that said exactly what you had said. America become weak. But
it was all a lie. And he also, Donald Trump knows when he approved this war plan, was it briefed to him as, Mr. President, we're going in light.
All right, Con. Yeah, we can move on. So in the spirit of that, again, it says the small hats continue to drag the whore into war. Now, as we know, they talking about a merger with the small hats in the U.S. I'll read a little bit of this. It's from Pentagon or militarytimes.com. It was put out yesterday. It says the House of Representatives passed its version of the National Defense Authorization Act last week, leaving in place a controversial provision that would encourage co-development and co-production between the U.S. and Israeli defense industrial bases. The House's version of this provision, known as Section 219, proposes further integration between the U.S. defense industrial base and Israel's. It comes amid a dramatic shift in the U.S. public opinion about military aid to Israel. So a lot of these things happening after you see an uproar of American citizens complaining about Israel. On top of the prophets already prophesying against these people, telling you they ain't the real Israelites. So now they're trying to merge intelligence, right, capabilities with America. Right now, we'll play a couple videos to see where this could go. But it says both the House and the Senate versions of the provisions will shift the model of security cooperation the U.S. and Israel now employ. So think about how much America already support Israel. Now they're going to take it to another level. It says, though there is already co-production between the two countries on weapon systems, those efforts historically have been limited to defensive systems like the Iron Dome. The House version creates an executive agent position within the Pentagon. Now remember this person, because somebody go have to be hired to be put into position of this executive agent. They go be the mediator between Israel, America, and intelligence. And Elder Tyler probably will play a video after this. You know who go hire that person? Who over hiring this executive agent? Pete Hagself. Pete Hagself. Because what is he what's his position? What's his position?
That's either what's called defense minister of defense or something.
Yep. Yeah. And check it out. It's up to him to hire this position. We'll play a video here in a few. It's gonna say that.
My bad. Secretary of Defense.
The water. Yep. Secretary of Defense. Pete Hagself. It's gonna be up to the Secretary of Defense to hire this certain person. But it says, let's read it. I'll read a little bit more. All right, that's cool. I'll go into this one. Right. So it says, this is from commondreams.com. It says, how Section 219, the U.S. and Israel military merger, would thwart American democracy. It says the merger would connect the U.S. and Israeli militaries in unprecedented ways and make it exceedingly difficult for any future president to unwind this partnership with a foreign government, no matter what public opinion says.
And you know
See
what?
that?
Hit that one more time. Hit that
You
one
got
more
it.
time.
It says the merger would connect the United States and Israeli militaries in unprecedented ways and make it exceedingly difficult for any future president to unwind this partnership with a foreign government, no matter what public opinion says.
Wait a minute. Didn't it say something about the democracy, or did I miss it?
No, so like that was in the title. It says how Section 219, because that's the section is under in the
Right.
in the bill, National Defense Authorization Act is under Section 219. So it says how Section 219, the U.S. Israel military merger, would thwart American democracy.
Yeah, right there. I didn't know that was the title because I can't see it. But yeah, it's gonna thwart democracy, right? That's Revelation 13 and 11. The beast coming up out of the earth had two horns like a lamb. That's democracy, but spake as a dragon, through draconian legislation, but by way of communism. They bringing communism in. We really been under low-key communism, disguised as a democracy, but they fixing to let it be known fully. All right. But why I say low-key communism, because they got the same people in office. You got 30, 40, 50 plus year people sitting in the Senate, all throughout Congress. They just lifetime, democracy, you're supposed to choose your representatives. And nobody's choosing representatives, they're given to you. And I spoke about that today. What's the name? Lindsey Graham died. They put his sister in his spot. The governor of South Carolina put his sister, Lindsey Graham's sister, in his spot. That ain't democracy. But that's what they saying. This NDAA isn't democracy. And the verbiage of that bill, such as merging militaries. And as Kim Iverson stated, that's a loss of sovereignty, right? Because you're destroying all the principles that you allegedly was founded on. All right. Your constitution is supposed to have been a constitutional republic. And somehow that got changed to a democracy. And now you're witnessing a crossover into communism. What you think Klaus Schwab and them mean at the WEF when they say you will own nothing and be happy? That's communism. The shit ain't yours. And what they doing? When they put this digital system in place, you will have to subscribe for everything. Well, not for a lot of the things that you just enjoy randomly, just inadvertently enjoy without even thinking, like you enjoy popping your trunk, loading your stuff in the back of your car to take a trip. There ain't nothing you got to think about. Now you're going to have to think about it because we were subject to payments before, but you really getting ready to be subject to payments in this digital system. And that's thwarting democracy. And that's all they doing. All right. And they don't want to tell the people because, you know, what's the name? Scott Ritter, just one of the things he said, you know, about the Iranian situation. What are the objectives? You know, and I don't even remember the original objective. Now the objective is to open the strait, but the strait is closed because you was fucking with Iran. So what was the original objective in fucking with Iran? You know, it's been so much lies and confusion. I didn't forgot, or maybe I never even knew. But I know right now they're supposed to be opening the strait, which is a situation that the U.S. created. You know, but the point is, this is communism. You don't have no say. In the constitutional republic, you're supposed to have some say. And in a democracy, you're supposed to have a vote. They're getting ready to take away all that. Remember, we had did that. We spoke on it maybe last year when Trump said, maybe I put that in the sit down, but Trump said at the beginning of this term of this administration, he said, you will never have to vote again. We done fixed it. We done fixed it where you'll never have to vote again, right? Because they're going to bring you into communism, and in communism, they speak as dragons. But go ahead, brother.
No, that's
But
it.
that title is dead on, lockstep with prophecy. But you got it.
It's all backfire ultimately on American citizens. I'll read this real
Right.
quick.
It's
I just
all
typed
gonna
in.
come on the heads and the shoulders of the Mark Mains. You're absolutely right.
Good.
You're absolutely right. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I just typed in on ChatGPT communism meaning in simple terms. It says a simple example in a capital. It says more, but I'm just getting to the point. In a capitalist system, you can own a farm, make a profit, and pass it on to your children. In a communist system, the farm will generally be owned by the state,
The
and
state.
what it produces will be distributed according to the government's plan. So own nothing and be happy. It
And they
says,
can come in and say, you don't get nothing. I'm taking all of it. And you can't say nothing. That's draconian.
yep.
But go ahead. Go ahead.
Yep. It says, and governments like the Soviet Union, China, Cuba have typically had governments that control much of the economy and limited private ownership and political opposition. So you ain't own nothing and you couldn't say nothing.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's what's coming. That's exactly what's coming. Oh, and I
That's
looked
what's
up this
coming.
too. And I looked up this too while you was talking, but because they merging intelligence. And the thing is,
Right.
this ain't just to go to war, right? To beef with Iran, get intelligent what Iran doing, what they got,
Right. It ain't just for war. You're right.
yeah,
It's coming.
where they
Yeah,
bases
you're
at. We trying to
absolutely right.
But I typed this in. I said, does Israel have some of the best intelligence and surveillance in the world? It says,
Hell
yes. Israel is widely regarded as having some of the most capable intelligence and surveillance capabilities in the world. Intelligence community includes Mossad. Oh, I seen a video today. It says Mossad is the new, because of the merger, it says Mossad will be the new CIA.
Right. They're gonna just take over. Right.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And then I think you were saying it last week too. How it's gonna be an easy transition because most of people who got position in the White House are already small hats or pro small hat.
Exactly. Yep.
Either or pro small hat or you a small hat. So all these things gonna be passed easily. And again, remember, we're gonna play a video here in a few. It's gonna be a person that got
you remember they all go and make that trip. They got to go kiss the wall and stuff. They get briefed. They get briefed on what, this is what we need you to do, this, that, and all of that good stuff. And then they break off their bread. They say, "Man, look at your account." They say, "Oh, thank you." And then they come back and implement the plan.
Mhm.
So, right, it's like you're saying, it's going to be a smooth transition because this has been in the making for years. Down to, like I mentioned, NLE 09 National Level Exercise of 2009. And then your Jade Helm was at 15. That's what that was about. All right. And we went into Jade, if I can remember the acronym, Joint Assisted Development. Uh, but it was for home-based warfare, basically. Yeah, Joint Assisted Defense, something. But yeah, that's what that was all that. That is what all that was about. And so it's ready now. It's just plug and play. Yeah, you got it though.
And I read this part right here, and we can move on to these videos. It says it's called Section 219, tucked away in a massive congressional spending bill known as the National Defense Authorization Act, or NDAA. This provision of the law would effectively require our nation to permanently entangle the American military with the Israeli military. Among other things, the United States Israel Defense Technology Cooperation Initiative would require the U.S. to share intelligence with Israel and establish a system of weapons research, development, and production, particularly in the domains crucial to warfare in the modern age: artificial intelligence, autonomous systems, robots, and various other fields of high defense technology.
Mm,
Now it's gonna go on. So that's explaining them coming together. And again, it's not just war, but it's gonna make the point how these things are coming about now that the American people are turning on Israel now. See, and they don't understand why America keep helping out these people. So it says, where we at? Right. It says, if this bill passes in the current form, the U.S. will be more integrated with Israel more than any other country. Here it is. Over the past 3 years, the American public opinion has turned sharply against the Israeli government. Thanks to modern miracles of social media, Americans were able to directly see the human carnage as the small hat military slaughtered and starved by the most conservative estimate over 73,000 people in Gaza. So remember all this, right? We was able
mm,
to witness the acts of these small hats. We've been able to witness what they've been doing in Gaza and the so-called intelligence that they've been doing this with, man. The point is, eventually this could not, but this eventually
hmm
will be used on Americans. What's been happening in Gaza and Palestine will be used on you Americans, man. It
That's it.
says, yep. Yep, it says right, it goes into the American people being fed up over these things, civilians, dozens of soldiers dying, and a global economic crisis, including gas prices. It says the American people are simply fed up. So I'm
Right.
gonna
That's what
play
I
this
was.
video.
That's
You
what
got
I
it.
was going to say earlier too, man. This war is highly unpopular, and they can't get no support. But we know. I don't know if they're going to speak on it in the video, but we spoke on it last week that the draft has been set to take place at the end of this year. All of these things that merger and all that is all set. Plus the tokenization of Wall Street was supposed to take place in December. So all this supposed to take place month before or either after the midterm, you know. But yeah, brother, the war is unpopular, man, and so they gonna have to bring in that draft.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it's gonna get ugly, man. Go ahead. I know they got some good stuff too.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it, but ultimately, what it do, it brings together the two nations, and it says, look, they have to establish a Pentagon executive agent. This person, look, it says the Secretary of Defense or Secretary of War must appoint one office or official to oversee the partnership. So guess who got to pick this
Oh
guy?
yeah, my
Pete
bad.
Hegseth.
My bad. The Secretary of War. I forgot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
God.
that's his. Yeah, that's his official type. Telling him.
God, I'll go ahead and play this. It says, so this video says, put out 8 days ago, Congress passed NDAA, merging U.S. and Israeli military intelligence.
So today, Congress is passing the National Defense Authorization Act, which is something that is passed annually to specify the budget, expenditures, and policies of the Department of Defense, or as we now call it, the Department of War. You see, now normally this is all about setting the spending levels for military weapons, personnel, operations, directed defense priorities, military agency management, and benefits for our troops. And it's been passed by Congress every single year for the last 6 decades. It also typically includes our foreign policy, including the provisions for our foreign alliances, military aid, and counter-threat strategies. Except this year, it's a little bit different because Section 219 of this legislation would shift U.S. policy from providing standard military assistance to institutionalizing a long-term defense integration between the United States and Israel. Now, we've provided military aid to Israel for years. They've been long considered one of, if not our greatest allies, but they are also a theocratic nation that is constantly getting themselves into conflicts. And because of their history of constant conflicts in the Middle East that America has been dragged into time and time again, they've really been the center of controversy. And once you take into account that they have by far the largest influence over our elected officials, it becomes even more concerning. Now, there have also been dozens of allegations and conspiracy theories over the years, but I want this video to be objective, so I'm not even going to get into any of that stuff. The point of this video is not to try to paint Israel into any sort of bad light. It's
they wicked.
just to talk about what's best for America and the American people. Because even if you were able to debunk every conspiracy theory that there ever was about Israel, and you were able to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that they were never the ones to provoke any of these conflicts, I would still think that this is a really bad idea. And let me tell you why. Now, I'm just going to pull this right up on the screen so we can read it together. Now, this is just me Googling what exactly Section 219 is. Now, first off, it says that there would be a mandatory Pentagon executive agent. This would be centralized oversight that would require the Secretary of Defense, or now the Secretary of War, in our case right now, Pete Hegseth, to appoint a permanent Pentagon executive agent solely dedicated to accelerating bilateral defense technology. Precedent of authority.
So Pete,
opponents note this agent authority could override other Department of Defense component decisions, such as technology sharing restrictions. It says that it bypasses.
So I want to highlight. So Pete Hegseth got to choose this executive agent who gonna be the person, the go-between between Israel and America, you know, and as far as what they're gonna do with AI, technology, certain decisions, intelligence, the plans. First, Pete Hegseth bugged out himself. This man bugged out himself. But I think I'll play this quick video right here on the Yashawama video. Pete Hegseth just getting cussed out. Where is it? But he overpicking somebody to do this. Let me see. Where is it? Where you at? It's from the Yashawama video he put up 4 days ago. News and prophecy. World War III on the horizon and end time prophecy.
Okay, they getting their ass beat to sleep and they're running through all this money. They're coming to the Senate begging for money. So now the Senate's like, nigga, what are we paying for? Nigga, we're not getting.
So this guy on the screen go pick the new position for the Israel and America merging, and he gonna be able to call the shots and go past Congress and all that. That's another point. They go be able to, for some things, not all, but go around getting things approved.
No results. We're constantly losing aircrafts. We're losing $billion radar. The service members are dying. The bases are becoming uninhabitable. Nigga, what are we paying for? You see? So you're going to see a little back and forth between this maniac, all right, Pete Hegseth, okay, this neo-Nazi, okay, cokehead, you know, which is the Secretary of Defense, what they call Secretary of War now, okay? And you Americans have a hell of a lineup when it comes to your leaders, man. Between this guy, Trump, Vance, okay, Rubio, okay, they're all cowards. You see? and this guy Stephen Miller. Okay, you have a hell of a lineup. All right, as your leadership, man. Okay, so let's play this some more, man. Let's play a little bit. Let's take it back.
I think it's irresponsible. I think it smears the sacrifice of the troops that are out there making on behalf of the American people to ensure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. Shame on you and others who call this a quagmire and a failure, and then you want to turn around and say you support the warfighter. Either you do or you don't.
Is the nuclear material still there?
I can get you a ticket out to CENTCOM and talk to what those Americans are doing, how committed they are to this effort, and how they want to ensure that Iran never threatens their families with a nuclear weapon.
They're requesting 88 more billion, while the American people's lives are just getting worse and worse. Just give us another 88 billion, you know. 88 billion, my nigga? God damn. It costs billions to just blow people in half. MF Doom said that.
That's the kind of intensity that our warfighters have about making sure that Iran isn't capable of doing
Secretary
that.
Hegseth, if you listen to my comments, you would have heard me say how amazing our warfighters are.
I heard failure. The word heard. I heard exactly
I will
what
tell
you
you
said.
how I use the
I heard
word
exactly
failure,
what you
because
said.
I use the word failure to their leaders. You, sir, are the failure, not the men and women who are on that front line, not the men and women who hold up their honor with distinction. But if there's a lack of a winning strategy, they're in harm's way. Their leaders have failed them. And that's what's happening. We have political leadership. You don't have a strategy. You don't have a long-term plan to actually win this war. Win the war. The men and women are going to be able to do it, but they need leadership. When will you show leadership?
You said something?
Yeah, that's the same thing like Scott Ritter was saying. What's the objective? And there's no strategy. And then he absolutely right. But go ahead, go ahead.
When will you show
You show some leadership and stand up to your fellow Democrats who won't fund the troops, who stand and play partisan politics while you don't give us the money. You want to stand up here and talk about the troops? You won't show any political courage to actually fund our department because you have Trump derangement syndrome and can't actually commit to anything meaningful.
True.
So I put this on you, Senator.
Secretary Hegseth, you have trillions, you have over $1 trillion. You're asking for $1.5 trillion. It's not a question of money. It's a question of leadership and understanding what it takes to actually win.
Political cowardice of Democrats who won't fund the troops.
Iran's interior minister sitting.
A child. All right, a child, man. Okay, you see, you have children leading you, man. Like we always get into. What's that? Ecclesiastes.
Right, that was the ultimate point. You see, P. Hegseth is a child himself, but he's in position to hire the next Pentagon executive agent, and that's the person who will be dealing in as far as the mediator for the merger between Israel and the U.S. But again, this is they already merged in a sense, man. These things are already happening. What they've been doing, what Israel been doing in Gaza, you know, Palestine, they eventually go merge with America. Yeah, they probably go do some military as far as build military equipment, so on and so forth with it. But again, they're gonna use that intelligence spying. Remember, Israel, they're the ones who had the bombs and the cell phones. You know, I forget who it was, but they had the some type of bombs in cell phones, I believe it was, or some type of walkie-talkie cell phone, iPhones. But again, these tactics gonna be used on the very American people eventually, man. Let me go ahead and play. Let me see what else he said.
Restrictions. It says that it bypasses standard review. The framework alters traditional congressional confirmation processes and annual appropriation oversight for these joint ventures. Now, what that means is instead of getting certain decisions passed through Congress, as we typically would, whoever this executive agent that's assigned by the head of the Department of War, which is assigned by the president, would just be able to bypass all those steps and make the decisions themselves. Now,
See that?
Your next breakdown.
Ludicrous. You see that though? That's what it's coming to. Whoever gonna be put into position, and that's another thing to watch for. Let's see who they put in position. Let's see who they hire as this executive agent, because they gonna have the authority to bypass certain framework in order to establish certain orders, man, executive orders, you know, or go around it. But the point is, this is where we coming to. Let me play this real quick. And what you already see now, this is the congressional offices in the U.S. House, but they already have small hat flags all around.
Doesn't it?
Let's play it again.
United States of? 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 Right. United States of? Makes you think. Doesn't
Play another one. Small hat memorabilia everywhere.
In Congress,
We are here in Congress trying to interview US lawmakers about their stance on Israel's genocidal war on Gaza. And we just wanted to show you this because we think it says something about US politics. Dozens of congressional offices display an Israeli flag right next to an American flag. To be precise, we've only seen one Palestinian flag in the building, outside the office of Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, who is Palestinian American. That said, the tide might be shifting after months of public pressure. In recent weeks, some Republicans like Thomas Matthey and Marjorie Taylor Greene have openly criticized AIPAC's influence on Congress. For the very first time, several AIPAC-backed Democrats have voiced support for suspending weapons to Israel. We've seen a pair of senators accuse Israel of ethnic cleansing in Gaza after a field trip to the Middle East, and we've even seen a group of Democrats call for the recognition of the state of Palestine. But these flags are still here, and we are not quite sure what message Congress is sending here. What do you think?
See, the Congress feel what small hats support, man. And that's what you've been seeing the small hats doing over there. They eventually go come to America. Let me play this last one real quick, and we got 2 more short videos, and that's it, Elder Tazapar.
Yeah. I'll read this right quick. This is Isaiah chapter 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. All right, so this place is, let's say, come down and sit in the dust. It's going into confusion. And yeah, that's the Most High is breaking this place down, bringing it into confusion. All right, it's going to be confused, just like you see ice. And this is always confusion surrounding them. You know, that's what's coming on a massive scale to America. All right, as the Elder Yashawamba pointed out, well, at least the video, this place is ran by children. So you're gonna see dust, confusion, and a bunch of trying to gaslight the Senate. You know, the Secretary of War, gaslighting the Senate. You know, about some theft. You know, well, some money that they want that probably never even get to a majority of that money. Probably won't even never get to the military. You know, everybody's on the take. Everybody's corrupt. They all in the pockets of APEC or APAC. You know, and this spells disaster for you average Joe Six-Packs out here. But that was it, brother. That was it.
We got like 3 1-minute videos or so. We'll go ahead and play them. Let's play this one real quick.
Israel military. Why should we use tax dollars to be used for genocide?
We are not merging the militaries. We share intelligence with the Israelis. The Israelis have shared intelligence with us for a long time. When you go to Offutt Air Force Base and you're in the Stratcom building, you'll find out that we have partnerships with South Korea, with the Royal Air Force, with the German military. We are not merged. The men and women of the U.S. Armed Forces have a loyal commitment to the Constitution of the United States. That's how it works. And we have allies. And thank God we are an ally with Israel because their intelligence is saving American lives.
You hear that? That's how much that's a for Israel. Thank God they're ally. America's an ally with Israel because Israel small-head intelligence is saving American lives, man. So the point is, it's gonna be used over here. These things over here. Let's play this quick video. It says, "Coming to a city near you." It's called the Palestine Laboratory.
The Palestine Laboratory. So the Israelis willing to do to you whatever they're willing to do to Palestinians, willing to do to you.
Yeah, why are you taking my information down?
Because we have a nice little database.
Oh, good.
And now you're considered a domestic terrorist. So
we're videotaping you?
there's something defense contractors call the Palestine Laboratory. So the Israeli occupation government tests out all this high-tech spyware, espionage equipment, AI, smart drones, facial recognition, smart shooter systems, very cyberpunk and very dystopian. The big marketing thing is it's tested in Gaza. It's tested in the West Bank. Yes, they say it like that. It's called the Palestine Laboratory. The journalist Anthony Lowenstein wrote a book on it because they actually call it the Palestine Laboratory. And the Palestine Laboratory is now at a local police department near you. So everything that we do to enforce occupation and apartheid in our colonial outpost of Israel is now used on you. So colonialism colonizes you as well. Because people don't understand that. People just see these wars in Iran. They're like, oh, I'm so far away from it. I don't know anyone who's ever died. Why would I care? Well, it's solidifying and further entrenching the national security state. Whatever they're willing to do to Palestinians, they're willing to do to you.
That's it, man. What they're willing to do to Palestinians, they're willing to do to you. And there's a reason they merging. It's not just to jump Iran. Let's jump them. The place last little quick video, the brother Ariya Kayal. Foreign soldiers are about to invade this place, and that's prophecy. Thinking they already got Israel flags all in the house and everything, man. So these people ain't gonna have a green light to have troops and soldiers over here eventually, and use their intelligence to track and trace again the flock cameras. They got all this already set, and now they merging Israel intelligence with it. Come on.
So they officially merged the U.S. military with the Israeli military. And for those of you that can't see the writing on the wall, in my opinion, there's only one reason why they would push so hard for this to happen. See, they're fully aware that the U.S. service members won't take to the streets and start slaughtering their own people. But when you merge two militaries together, it's quite easy to just fly the IDF over here to the U.S. streets and do just about anything and kill just about anyone that the U.S. government wants unalived.
In America, if you hadn't figured it out yet, Israel wants you dead. Why does Israel want you dead? They want the vast majority of people of color in the United States gone and dead. That's what Israel wants. Israel wants to rid America of people of color. Why? So they can move over here. That's right. Israel wants to move their people into the United States. And the biggest thing that Israel hates the most is people of color. So
at the same time, they got small hats can go to Palestine, West Bank, and they can basically set up shop. They can just claim land. Palestinians are not allowed to return, but small hats can go and claim land and start farms. They're encouraging them to start farms from, here in America. So yeah, they got that going on too. So this is a whole, this is a reset, restructuring. He getting ready to move the, how the scriptures put it, remove the ancient landmarks again. But go ahead, brother. He did on.
because when the conscriptions to go and fight for Israel starts, it will be people of color, Native Americans, Asians, Black people, Latinos. And what do you think is going to happen when you get there?
And another thing too, just to add this again, And out of every place in the world, America is the #1 place calling these small hat people out because you got the prophets here. The majority of the prophets are here in America. That's that's probably the main reason over many reasons. You see, just because they passing certain laws and it seemed like, oh, it's just for land or it's just for war, things could be directed towards the prophets indirectly. It happened before with Daniel, right? With Daniel, they made a law for the province that nobody could pray to another god, but that was for the whole province. Now, see, the everyday citizens didn't know. They just thought, oh, it's a law for everybody. They didn't know that law that was made for a whole province was made just to entrap one man, Daniel, a prophet. You see? So in these times, laws can be made, and it seemed like it's all just America for all people. No, it's really for the prophets at the end of the day. They just can't tell you, we want them niggas to shut up. See? And the right here is what the main people speaking about the small hats, America, man.
Daniel didn't give a damn. He had his window open, didn't he?
Yeah, he had it open. He ain't kept.
Yeah, the window, he didn't give a damn. Come on. Yeah.
You're going to be killed in friendly fire. Israel will make sure that you do not come home. That's a fact. Because Israel wants America. It wants the country of America so it can build a bigger country. That's just the plain truth. And if you don't believe me, do some research.
That's it, man. And I play this one too. I read this precept and I play this one quick vid. This Jeremiah 49:20, because we're going to continue to see things leading up to fulfilling this prophecy, or things taking place to fulfill this prophecy. Jeremiah 49:20 says, therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord that he have taken against Edom, against the so-called white man, and his purposes, that he have purpose against the inhabitants of Teman. It says, surely the least of the flock. Who is the least of the flock? The small hats. Those who over in the land talking about they the real children of the Lord. It says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. So it's written in Bible prophecy that the small hats, the least of the Edomites, right, was going to draw America out into war. And what's going to be the determining factor of that? It says, and surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. And that's Bible prophecy. America and Israel will be destroyed. See, the small hat is drawing the whore into war, and they both gonna get destroyed. And let's play this real quick. But the Lord using Trump, Lord willing, this continue. But who else seems like they're gonna be the cruel Lord to make all this happen? Play this quick vid. It's a 49-second video. Colonel Douglas McGregor.
The first thing the globalists and the leftists do when they want to silence you is go after your merchant.
He gonna say, "I Trump in the power to attack Iran." That's where they put him now. He that charismatic leader.
If Americans haven't figured it out, they should understand right now they are not represented in Washington, and the Congress, for all its bluster, is no less on the paper.
Would you say, Zaquan?
No, I'm agreeing with him. My bad.
God.
If Americans haven't figured it out, they should understand right now they are not represented in Washington, and the Congress, for all its bluster, is no less on the payroll of Israel and the Israel lobby than is the White House. It's a disgrace. You know, Lou Dobbs, who's passed away, used to say America has the best government money can buy. Lou was right. Well, the 70% that are upset with the war obviously are not in a position to fund his term in the White House. He has to respond to the donors, the Zionist billionaires that put him there. And he was put there with a purpose in mind, and that purpose was to attack Iran. The Israelis have been after this for more than 2 decades. It's tragic that he succumbed to it, because I think it's going to consume him.
Boom. You see that? He said Trump was put there, talking about as president, with a purpose. It says, matter of fact, I got to start here. It says Trump has to respond to the donors. Who's the donors? The small head millionaires, the elites that put him there. It says Trump was put there with a purpose in mind, and that purpose was to attack Iran. And this goes back years because what's old dude who told Aaron Russo, the Rothschild,
Nick Rockefeller.
Yeah, Nick Rockefeller. He told Aaron Russo, he was like, yeah, it's gonna be this event, you know, we're gonna blame it on terrorism. He was talking about 9/11. And then he said, after that, it's 2 more places we want to go. And one, I think he said Venezuela That happened. And Iran, that's happening. Come on, man.
And Wesley Clark, he mentioned the 7 countries in the Middle East that, you know, for no reason they was going to invade, and they invaded all except Iran, which they're working on right now. You know, just to go with that. So right, they've been hell bent on that, and boy, shit, you got it.
Now that's it. They've been wanting to go inside Iran because in their mind that fulfilled more territory for them. And they kind of established them in, you know, what they would call the Middle East. Them and Israel linking up, you know, and becoming something. That's in their mind. But it says Trump was put there with a purpose, and that purpose was to attack Iran. So this man was chosen to be the dummy, right? Because Americans believe in him to be the dummy to bring this place to its end. It says the small have been after this for more than 2 decades. It's tragic that Trump succumbed to it because I think it's going to consume him. That's it. He Nero. You see?
Yeah, it's gonna fuck him up. Oh, by the way, for those who may not know, Wesley Clark was the UN's the general of the UN, and Alawak got accolades from Wesley Clark. I didn't know that till this weekend. So yeah, that was a trip. But he actually met Wesley Clark. And that's the man that said, yeah, they're going to invade 7 countries after the towers fell. He came out and said that, and that's been 20 years plus now. 2 decades, as he was saying. Yep. I might well read this. I got to read this.
You could take us out, too. That was pretty much it.
All right, this is let me see. All right, Isaiah. Here we go. All right, this is Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7. Yeah, I'm gonna start there. Let me start at 5. All right, it's Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 5. But thus said the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right. He, of course, meaning Jacob, is not all Jacob. A remnant, 1/3, well, of the nation of Israel is going to be delivered. 2/3 are going to be destroyed. And that's what's getting ready to take place in the earth. There's been small judgments, but the big one is coming. All right. The prayer Samson used to say, it's the big one. Yeah, the big one is coming. So yeah, with that, let's see, and precepts. A lot. He put Sirach 10, 16, and 17 in the GNTD. It says, the Lord has overthrown empires and completely devastated their lands. He destroyed some so completely that they are not even remembered anymore. It says, oh yeah, okay, that's it. Yeah, that's it. So, and that's what's coming to America. All right. So that's beautiful, right on time. And with that, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory again unto Yahweh, Bahasham,
Yahweh,
Yahushai,
Bahashim,
Bahasham,
Yahushai, Bahashim,
Mashiach.
Chakodash.
Double honors to the elders, apostles, and bishops of Great Millstone, as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings unto the 144,000 and all the rest of the elect. To the next one, y'all stay up. Much love and shalom.
Shalom. The water for tuning in.